Welcome, Queen. Have you ever heard anyone say, if you are truly their friend, then you would invite them into every room you enter into? Today, I'm sharing with you that I disagree. And why? Because inviting everyone into every room you enter into isn't loyalty. Sometimes it's a liability. And if you've ever found yourself struggling with access, boundaries, or even having difficult conversations, then I invite you to use the link in the description below to schedule your discovery call. So together we can map out a blueprint to identify the relationship patterns keeping your connections and your conversations stuck. Now here's the deal. Somewhere along the way, many people took on a belief system treating everyone the same is loyalty. But wisdom says something different. Every relationship does not require the same level of access. And I want you to think about your own life. Would you truly invite every friend you have to a corporate networking event? Would you truly invite every coworker you have ever worked with to a family function? Would you truly invite every family member to a business decision that you had to make? Probably not. And the reason why is because you recognize every relationship, each of those relationships, co-workers, relatives, business decisions, those relationships require different levels of access because they serve different purposes. And one of the biggest mistakes that people tend to make is confusing acceptance with access. I can love you without giving influence to you. I can respect you without giving you unrestricted access into each and every single part of my life. I can appreciate you and still not take you into every room I'm called to enter. And here's what we must come to understand. That relationships need healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries aren't rejection. They're discernment. Psychological research consistently shows that our closest relationships have the biggest impact on us. They shape our thinking, they shape our emotional responses, and they shape our decision making. That means that the people with the greatest access to us have the greatest influence on us. And that happens naturally, whether we recognize it or not. And that's why choosing who has access to the different spaces and rooms you are called to in your life is stewardship. It's not about superiority. And you may be thinking, it sounds like you're judging people. You're saying people aren't good enough to go into every place and space with me. And here's what I need you to know. I'm not judging them. I recognize this. It's wisdom. Because even Jesus modeled this for us. Now, you may not believe like I believe. So if you don't, that's totally fine. I'm not trying to force you to or convince you to. What I will say is this. That as I look at the pages of scripture of his life, it is clear everyone he crossed paths with and interacted with did not have the same level of access to him. There was the multitude, meaning the crowd, which at times could be thousands of people. There were the 72, so this was a closer group of people. There were the disciples, which we know there were 12 of them. There were also the inner core, which were the 3. And then he even showed us that sometimes we need to withdraw because we need to be alone. He modeled this. We see that. That's if you believe like I believe. If not, this is not for you. And that's okay. Because just like every room is not for every person, every conversation is not for every person. So what was modeled is that everyone is not invited everywhere. Not because he loved them differently, but every assignment isn't for every person. Different people have different purposes and assignments in our lives. And it's up to us to recognize that so we can properly have these people who are in our lives in the best fit place for our lives. Now, if you recognize that, hey, I have been given access where I need to put boundaries in place. I'd love to equip you to navigate those conversations with greater confidence and greater peace. Go ahead and use the link in the description below to schedule your discovery call today. And practically, I invite you to audit 4 things. Here they are. Who has access to your thoughts? Who has access to your dreams? Who has access to your decisions? And who has earned that access to them? Because proximity doesn't automatically qualify some people to have influence or access into certain places and spaces in your life. And yet, they may already have it. So remember, bringing everyone into every room you're called to or invited into isn't loyalty. It's often, sometimes, a liability. As always, I'm CE Sam telling you that 24 hours doesn't seem long, but in 24 hours, you can change your life. So go ahead and do something life-changing now.